Welcome, everyone, to the
Right.
next episode
Yes.
of the Drunken podcast. As always, I am your host, Alex. Joining me are Jim and Peter. Today, we're going to be going over the Druid spell list because the last time we tried to record this, one of the computers just shitted out, and we have to do this all over again.
One of the computers or one of the operators?
Remains to be seen. But that's going to be the agenda today. We're going to go over some more homebrew, as we usually do, and the Druid spell list. So, guys, what are y'all drinking tonight?
Well, what are you drinking, Peter?
Well, I'm drinking Glenfiddich 14. So, scotch, just like last time. It's
Which they don't know.
no, but I drank the Glenfiddich 12 the time before that, so it's still in
That's right.
continuity.
Yeah, he has a thing that he does. So that's what it is.
It is. I'm drinking wonderful Glenlivet 12 year. Absolutely delicious single malt Scotch whiskey.
Unlike last time, I was said to go away from the Scotch because I'm the biggest Scotch guy, and then
Shouldn't want to be one of those.
and decided to go to one of the things that I'm even less of a fan of. I went to 100% rye whiskey. So it is Whistle Pig, though one of the Whistle Pigs, I believe it's the Whistle Pig 12 or 16, that I very much enjoy. However, this 6 year, let's just say it is rye. There is rye whiskeys, and then there's rye whiskeys, and this is the latter. So I tried drinking it straight. Didn't quite work out so well because it just kind of punches you in the face. Think of it like the IPA of whiskeys. Yeah.
The rye is the hops.
Yeah. So I decided to turn it into an old fashioned, which actually was working really, really well. The spiciness of the rye works really well with the sugar and the bitters and the orange peel. It actually is very enjoyable now that I'm into an old fashioned.
Nice.
That's fair. It's really fair.
Yeah, that's gonna probably be one of my go-to old fashioned whiskeys, because it is quite delicious.
Yeah. I just realized if someone looked right down there, it would seem like I have an issue because I just haven't cleared out the bottles I've used for this in the past 3 weeks. So I still have my like Woodford bottle, the rye from like 2 weeks ago, the Glenmorangie. Oh, this might have been 2 weeks ago. The rye might have been 3 weeks ago.
Jim, if you have bottles laying around, you have a problem. If you put them on a nice shelf, you're a connoisseur. There.
See, normally they are on a shelf, but it's on the other side of this wall, and that would require me to pick them up and walk them around. And that just seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, that's understandable.
I mean, especially because, like, literally the last time I drank any of these was when we recorded those podcasts. So it's not a problem, I swear.
Seems like exactly something. So what's the problem? Let's say.
Yep.
I can stop whenever I want.
That is also what someone with a problem would say.
I think that's better not having that bright light in my background. It works a little bit better.
Fair enough. So we should talk about D&D things.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not a huge Critical Role fan, but I did see for like the first time, Matt Mercer isn't going to be the DM.
Yeah, I just
Really?
saw that today.
Yeah, I forget the lady's name. I hadn't heard of her before, but I think they're doing like a limited pre-recorded series in the same world. Like,
Yeah.
it was like 30 years after the first one, a decade after this campaign that just closed.
Okay.
Matt Mercer and one other person from like their main campaign so far
Yeah, it's
are going to be
Liam.
players. Yeah, that's right.
This is his way. I'm playing in something. Damn it.
Right.
I mean, he plays
So-
in like they do like a bunch of one shots throughout
Yeah.
the seasons. So he does.
Yeah,
those,
they've-
but
Yeah, they've had him as a player as other people come in for one shots and stuff. Like other players at the table take over for one shot or whatnot. But yeah, like he's a permanent player in this campaign. Yeah, that's good. I mean,
Interesting to see type of character he makes and how
He's
it's gonna go.
he said he is not playing one of the archetypes he normally does, and he has learned from Travis to embrace the chaos. So
barbarian.
who knows? I mean, yeah, Grog was a barbarian, but
No, I know. I'm just saying, like that's just what you think of as the epitome of chaos.
wild magic.
Wild magic.
That too.
The one where it literally is chaos of whether you do the spell as intended or if some random shit happens.
Yep.
So yeah, it's interesting. I'm not a big Critical Role person. I've started watching in some downtime their first campaign. I'm like 9 episodes in, which is still like a lot of hours, like dozens of hours.
Yeah, each episode is like 3.5 hours long or thereabouts.
Yeah.
So I've been listening to the second campaign as a podcast because, driving around doing nothing, you got to listen to something.
That's fair.
And so it's, yeah, I started
Perfect
listening to it a little
long
while ago,
commute
and
thing.
I'm up to like episode 40 something in the second campaign. So I haven't listened to the first campaign. I started the second campaign because like, okay, that's more recent. I can get a little bit more into it because I started listening to it closer to when it started, and then I got behind it.
They're so far away
and now
now.
they're done. It's like, well, yeah, I'll just keep listening to it, I guess, because
They're done
know
at, like-
where it's going.
They're done at like episode
142 or something.
yeah, some crazy thing. It's like, okay, well, I guess you can do that,
Yeah,
Must be
that's
nice when that's your job.
right? Well, I mean, they're
One
also
of your
voice
jobs.
actors, and,
Yeah.
right?
But like,
Because I think his Matt Mercer's wife, I forget her name. Was she? No. One of the women in the campaign is a voice in like Last of Us.
Ashley Johnson.
That's who it is. I was like, I saw a bunch of stuff with like Matt Mercer and Marisha Ray, and so I couldn't think of the other one. Was it her? No.
Yeah, since I've been listening to it, I kind of know their names right now. But
Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting. I'm just interested. All right. The other thing, I'm gonna talk about it very briefly. The 2 new subclasses. The Bard. I forgot what it's actually called. I was trying to find the book and I couldn't find it easily. There it is. Well, it's the Warlock Patron Undead.
Yep.
Which just gets a lot of undead features, and you don't need to like breathe or things. Eat.
Who needs to breathe?
Oh, it's College of Spirits, just like the Seance person. Yes, that's a title. Because that's the best feature of the Bard, which is the best of these 2 classes, is you can like hold seances and benefit with your friends and get some cool ass ability, and it scales. So by telling different stories, I like it. Not that I'll get a chance to play it, but I like it.
yeah,
Unless one of you wants to DM another game of D&D so I can try more characters.
We have time to do this stuff as it is.
I have all the time.
I do not.
Peter, you're running a game of D&D.
I don't have time anymore.
Get over it. You're running a game of D&D. You are the tribute. May the odds be ever in your favor.
We know how my dice rolls work. That's never going to be true.
No.
It's going to be fine for me as a player.
That is true. But not for
All right, so let's get into some homebrew.
Yep,
My favorite
let's do
part.
it.
All right, so I don't know when we talked about counterspell variants.
Yeah, that was in the unrecorded.
Oh, perfect. So we're not covering the same ones. Anyway, but this is a homebrew rule on how counterspell works.
Oh no.
So, fuck, just automatically working on spells under like 3rd level. No, it's this person does counterspell that it is uh the caster of the counterspell versus a number based on the original spell that's being countered. Bullshit. So it's counterspell. The person countering the spell has to roll a d20, add their spell attack bonus and the spell slot level, versus a DC 8 plus the spell level of the original spell being cast plus the spell attack modifier of the caster.
It sounds like someone who just wants to do math because.
Right?
And someone who got all pissy because someone counterspelled their big bad too many times, and now they threw a fit.
Right? And I mean, so he said like, his idea behind it is if a high level caster casts a low level spell, perhaps they're more accustomed to anti magic and weave their spells in a way that's harder to counterspell or dispel. Sorry, there's some
And
typos in here that I'm trying to read through.
here's the thing. If you made an individual powerful wizard with this ability, that'd be actually kind of interesting.
Yeah, you get to the big bad, and now he has this ability.
Yeah, you go to counterspell him, and it's like, all right, make a DC save, and you're just like, wait, what?
Like, it's a level 1 spell. Like, why?
It's a
like,
counterspell.
no.
Like, do it. And you're just like, oh crap, things are different here.
Yeah.
And
Oh, no.
that actually would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But just counterspell in general?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, not a global rule. That seems a little much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he even tries to throw in there, I guess, to appease the mob. Like, hey, like, you could throw a rule that on a 20, the counterspell rebounds and arms the original caster. On, like, a 1, the target spell lashes out at the counter caster. Oh. This is stupid. Stop it.
No.
So
No.
that's just stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible. No one should use it.
Unless it's for an individual big bad
yeah.
high level mage. Then I think
Right.
that's actually really freaking cool idea.
As an exception to a rule for an individual, great, but as a world rule, fuck off.
Especially if you're in a high magic area anyway.
Right.
So it's like, say it's some sort of like high level wizard who made a dungeon, kind of like how a beholder makes an area. So you
Mhm.
get up to start casting on them, and then they have this other field around them. Make it kind of like an aura, like a paladin would have up to a certain thing, things like
Yeah.
that. But not quite like a paladin, but
Yeah, no, this seems like either like a layer action
that's
kind of thing or a legendary action kind of thing.
I'd say a layer action would be
Like
good.
it depends how you're doing it, because layer action happens on initiative 20, so it's not in a moment of
Yeah.
a spell being cast or something like that. So like maybe it's an effect that you can put on the layer as your layer action at the start of each round, along with some other potential effects. That'd be interesting.
Mhm.
The next one, another homebrew rule. Because people come up with the best rules. This one is if a player rolls 3 consecutive nat 20s, an automatic level up is given. You roll nat 20 3 times in a row, so Peter, I'm sorry, that's never going to happen for you. But you do it, and you get a level up. I would assume I would rule it that advantage only counts as 1 roll, even if both are nat 20s, because it is a single ability check or attack. However, if I made a rule like this, I am probably the kind of person who'd be like, no, it counts. It totally counts.
It's true. So it doesn't count unless you have back-to-back advantage rolls and you get 4 20s. I think that would count, because that's just so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
dumb.
So this is dumb.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's rare, but it's gonna happen eventually.
right. Like, I mean, it's rare, but it's not that rare. Like when you think of statistically, it is what 1 in 8,000 chance.
And how many times do we roll die in a campaign?
Right. Like, yeah, it's not gonna happen every session. It might only happen once a campaign.
Yeah.
But like, it's not lottery numbers rare. It's like
No.
550 million or some shit like that. Like
Yeah.
1 in 8,000. I don't know. We roll a lot of dice sometimes. Another one of his homebrew rules,
Oh, this
and
is
this one
Sam.
I can,
Oh boy.
yeah, this one I can appreciate though. If you make enough dick jokes, you'll take 1d4 lightning damage as God smites you.
I
Apparently it
appreciate
happened
that
to-
one.
Yeah, it happened to his rogue apparently. I'm like, you know what? As
If you
long
got
as-
yourself in that situation, you deserve it.
right, as long as it's clear at session 0, like I'm fine with that one. You gave your party a warning. Like if you make an obnoxious amount of dick jokes, God is going to smite you.
Honestly, it doesn't.
You're just playing with
zero.
fire though.
If you win enough sessions, you're like, okay, we get it. If you keep doing this, you're gonna get
Yeah,
smited by a deity for doing that.
yeah,
And they keep pushing the limit. That's on them.
yeah. As long as they are forewarned.
Yes.
Like, you know what? Fine. Like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't. You can't pull it out of nowhere. You can't just be like, a lightning bolt hits you for 1d4 damage. 1, because that'd be way too little damage for lightning bolt. And 2, why? Because you made too many dick jokes. I didn't know that was a rule. Like, yeah, okay, that's fair.
Get lightning to your Prince Albert.
That would be painful. Okay. Now we got a wonderful homebrew magic item, and this is a magic ring. That requires attunement by a dragonborn. However, I shared this with Alex, and we looked it up. The artificer could totally do this at a certain level because they can ignore race.
They can ignore any prerequisite for a magic item.
Yeah. I mean, I would probably, when you hear it, I would probably take DM Fiat to be like, no, to this one, because, well, you'll hear why. So this ring allows you to tap into your ancient lineage and assume the form of a dragon for 1 minute. The type of dragon, i.e. wormling, young, adult, or ancient, changes with their level. Basically, their level has to match the CR for that type of dragon. It only has 1 charge, which renews every new moon. And immediately after use, they gain 2 levels of exhaustion, which are removed by normal means, and lose their damage resistance and use of their breath weapon for 8 minus their con modifier days after the immersion, because of how much it takes out of you just to do it. This is why I would probably say, like, one thing the artificer can't use, because what you turn into a flesh dragon, terrifying. But what breath does that even have? Just bad breath. You didn't brush your teeth.
I might rule it that instead of it being renewed every new moon, it's a one-time use thing. He tries it, but in doing that, he becomes a dragon.
You're about to see it.
But then in doing that, he becomes a dragon, but basically gets the dragon power from the ring itself, but in doing it destroys the ring. Because doesn't have the racial feature on that. I wouldn't, if the ring is in there,
Sure.
for an artificer. So they get to use it in how it's intended to do once.
Mm-hmm.
But because they don't have that actual ancient bloodline to like keep refueling the magic, that it's done.
It'd be interesting. I still, would they get like free reign on what color dragon they are?
I would say that's up to
Make it
DM's
random.
discretion how the make it random or up to the DM's discretion.
Okay.
Right. If you'll
Yeah.
say the ring is imbibed, it was made by the lineage of blah blah blah, you can make something. Or if you're-
Tiamat, so it's all the chromatic dragons.
Yep. Or if you want the ring to stay in game instead of being destroyed, it can only be like purified by an actual like dragonborn with a certain thing, and you can make it like an actual quest to get the ring fixed, and then it can only be used after it being used once. It can only be used by a dragonborn.
Or it has to be purified
Yep.
by a dragon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that'd be a good
So
idea.
you have to go find like a gold or silver or some. Well, you know, one of the nice ones that would help people.
Yeah.
Or
I
maybe
just
an
find a
asshole
black
one,
dragon.
but they're. Yeah, I mean, maybe a black dragon, but then basically, like, you're its servant for a while, or you have to bring it so much, loot for its hoard for it to do it.
Or if you're an evil campaign anyway, you might have dealings with some of these things
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, it's just your patron. It's fine.
I think there's some cool things you could do with that.
Yeah.
I like it because it's very balanced, especially with the exhaustion. You can't use it again for a while. You can't use your breath, so there's a lot of cost to it.
Yeah,
But that could
you
really
can't-
turn the tide.
Yeah, plus your damage resistance for your dragonborn lineage, that's gone.
Yep.
For those days, yeah, no breath weapon, exhaustion. You get it essentially once a month. I mean, I don't know how long everyone's lunar cycle is in their worlds, but I would assume most of them are similar to Earth's because why reinvent a lunar cycle? I'm sure Wizards of the Coast or Gary Gygax at some point did, but I'm not getting paid to rewrite a lunar cycle just for D&D.
I want to do it with a plane with multiple moons. Haha! Cheating, bitches!
I mean, it would increase the chances that one of them is a new moon.
Yeah.
Or do all of them have to be new moons at once?
Oh god. If they're all new moons at once, the ring gets supercharged.
Right.
Turn
'Cause
the whole party into dragons.
It's like
'Cause
Sozin's
in
Comet.
theory, right, yeah. Because in theory, with multiple moons, they would be at different heights of the orbit, so their lunar cycle would be different per moon.
It actually is a cool idea for a campaign. It's like dragons are attacking and they're waiting for an actual convergence of moons to have like a Sozin's Comet type effect. And the party is.
Are the poor bastards who have to deal with it?
Yep. That could be kind of fun, actually.
It would be interesting. I mean, that kind of gets into a discussion of, like, as a DM, how much license do you have to rip off other things and not, like,
All the license.
there are only so many stories to tell and so many, like, types of quests you can give. But, like, if I just pull something out of, like, Critical Role or just basically do Avatar or one of any hundreds of animes, Dragon Ball Z, you're trying to collect all the balls to get a wish.
That's straight up a quest that people do. Like,
that is straight
up a quest.
That is straight up Dragon Ball.
Yep.
Gather
And
all the Dragon
I'm
Balls
pretty
and
sure
you get
stole it from
wish.
something else.
They
They didn't
did.
act like that's original. Because their
Yeah.
main character is complete ripped off of somebody else.
I'm sure.
Goku is Sun Wukong. Goku is entirely Sun Wukong.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, everyone's a rip-off of someone else. I don't know. I think you might need to, like, alter it somewhat. Like, I'm fully guilty of ripping off a bunch of other things. Like, I also did it when, like, I very first homebrew campaign when I was just figuring out D&D.
Yeah.
So I was more worried about so many other things
Yeah.
than, like,
Mr. Clapius, Trapia, and Mogaton.
Yep, exactly. Which is honestly also why in my next campaign, while I want to keep playing in that world because I like the lore I've built up around a lot of these things, I don't want to do it on the same continent. I want to go to a different continent, create new.
Yeah.
Because I have grown as a DM from those days, and it's like, okay, I'm stuck with these now because I mean, I guess in the future I could be like, oh, High King changed the names of all this stuff.
Or, when I take over and I basically take that continent and blow it to shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Else.
And then they all have to start anew, and we can ignore the fact that I ripped off a shit ton of things from video games that I liked or hated, because Brink's in there too, and I hated that game. That's why it's a shithole in the game.
What is that game?
Brink was a first-person shooter that was trying to do like a lot of the parkour stuff. Like I want to say it came out like 2011 or 12.
So it was like trying to be Mirror's Edge, or was it
but like
that?
I think it was after Mirror's Edge,
Okay.
and it was trying to do parkour stuff, but like Call of Duty / parkour / even the single player was done the exact same way their multiplayer was.
Oh.
And it was not a good game. Like, it's one of those games that has gone back into the recesses of people's minds for good reason. Like, it is not a good game.
Sounds like
when I hear Brink, I think of a character from an old point and click. His name is Brink, and he is an asshole. So
so it fits in more ways than one.
Yeah, it's really weird because it's in this game called The Dig, where these astronauts get sent to investigate an asteroid, find evidence of aliens, get transported to an alien world. Brink dies, and they find alien technology that brings it back to life. It's really weird, really convoluted, but really fun too.
That's weird. Yeah, it was released in 2011, May of 2011. Publisher Bethesda Softworks.
Ah!
It was a first-person shooter game developed by Splash Damage and published by Bethesda for Microsoft Windows, PS3, and Xbox 360. 2 factions, resistance and security, battle over a once utopian city called the Ark, floating above the waters of a flooded Earth.
Oh, how original.
It got a 6 out of 10 on Steam, 70% on Metacritic, and if anyone cares about GameStop, 3.3 out of 5. But I remember a lot of people returned the game very fast, and no one ever talks about it anymore. So obviously not a good game.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, I played it, and I probably still have it. It's not a good game. So let's move on from that horribleness of that game to the Brazen Ox Knuckles. Wondrous, very rare item that requires attunement. These are magical bracers. They say bracers. Come on. These are base gauntlets. Your unarmed strikes gain a +2 bonus to attack and damage rolls, and you have advantage when attacking creatures wearing heavy armor.
Ting, 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 ting.
Yeah. It also comes with this Raging Ox feature. If a creature makes a melee attack against you, you may use your reaction to make a melee attack against them.
Okay.
Which is a fighter ability, I believe. Or is it a barbarian one?
I think it's a barbarian.
I think isn't it a feat too? Is that a feat?
No, not just being attacked, I don't think.
I think it's a barbarian. I think it is. I think Nathaniel's done it. I'm pretty sure it's barbarian.
Yeah, I thought it was something that like a fighter could do with a superiority die or something like that.
That's also probably true too. It's probably a maneuver.
Yeah.
I know barbarians can get it, but it seems like something a fighter could do too.
Yeah, I think it's something they can both do, but I think the fighter one requires a superiority die. Mm-hmm. If, Baldur's Gate 3 is accurate. Who knows? But I think it is. It also comes with Burning Rage. The Knuckles have a number of charges equal to your proficiency modifier. You spend 3 You may spend 3 charges to cast Heat Metal from the Knuckles as a bonus action without concentration. You may spend additional charges to cast the spell 1 level higher. If you target the Brazen Ox Knuckles with Heat Metal, your unarmed strikes deal an additional 2d8 fire damage plus 1d8 fire damage for additional levels of that spell. You do not take fire damage from casting Heat Metal on the Knuckles, and you're resistant to cold damage for the duration of the spell, I assume because they're very warm next to you. And they regain the charges after a long rest. Now, this is
The rarity of this?
very rare.
Okay.
So this is
Okay.
late game.
Okay. With that moniker of very rare on there.
Yeah.
These things
Also
are cool
requires
as
a channel.
hell. Things are cool as hell.
Yeah.
Damn, those things are strong.
Like, on the thing, like with the Heat Metal, one, the fact that it doesn't require concentration, interesting. But it doesn't say you have to use it on the gauntlets. You can use Heat Metal on whatever. It just gives you the bonus to the attack with the gauntlets, which I think is probably a better use of them than on something else.
If I'm a monk beating up a plate armor person, putting Heat Metal on the dude in plate armor, I think would also be a good choice.
No,
because
if he tries to like take off the armor or something like that, you lose your advantage against him because you have an advantage on creatures wearing heavy armor.
It takes 10 minutes to doff heavy armor. He will not be able to.
That's fair. Does Heat Metal cause things touching the metal to start on fire?
Yes. Well, it will cause damage. I don't know if it starts on fire, but it will cause damage.
Because I was just wondering
anyone holding it or touching it.
Yeah, because I was wondering if you could make the argument that like the inevitably leather or cloth straps holding bits of the armor together would burn, and which would inevitably lead to pieces of it falling off. But I haven't really used the spell all that much, so I don't know what the wording says.
I have to look it up.
You choose a manufactured metal object, such as a metal weapon or suit of heavy or medium armor. You can see within range. You cause the object to glow red hot. Any creature in physical contact with the object takes 2d8 fire damage when you cast it. If a creature is holding or wearing the object and takes damage from it, the creature must save a con saving throw or drop the object. If it doesn't drop the object, it has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the start of your next turn. So, no, it wouldn't break.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be bad. Then you have advantage against them. But also, using it on the knuckles itself, your unarmed strikes deal an additional 2d8 damage. So as a monk wearing this, you're making just unarmed strikes for days. You do this on the gauntlets, and then like flurry of blows, and you're getting like
you're just crushing it on there. It's pretty crazy.
It's a ridiculous amount of damage.
Yes,
but I mean, fairly cool. I think a fairly cool item.
Yeah.
Especially for high levels of play.
Yeah.
Especially since monks don't really get anything pretty cool at high levels of play. I think that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah. I definitely prefer magical items for martial classes, not magical ones, because magic does so much crazy shit anyway, especially high level magic.
The Staff of the Magi is pretty sweet.
It is, but I prefer to give stuff to like the fighter, the monk, the barbarian, who gets some bonuses but seem to fall behind the casters.
Yeah. Martial classes are good early. Casters get stupid later on.
Oh yeah. So I'm just gonna call this what it is. Someone basically made a lightsaber, calling it an arc blade.
The
item appears to be
copyright free arc blade.
Right. The item appears to be a longsword hilt. While grasping the hilt, you can use your bonus action to cause a blade of dark lightning to spring into existence, or make the blade disappear.
Let's go.
While the blade exists, this magic longsword has finesse properties. If you are proficient in short swords, or long swords, you are proficient with the arc blade. You gain +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with this weapon, which deals lightning damage instead of slashing. When you hit a creature with it, you can cause lightning to arc from the target to a different creature of your choice. You can see within 5 feet of it. The second creature takes 1d6 lightning damage. The arc blade is able to absorb ambient electrical energy to briefly enter a supercharged state. If only Mace Windu had that ability. If you take lightning damage while the weapon's blade is active, you can use your reaction to capture some of that energy, store it up for up to 1 minute. The first time you hit with the arc blade before the end of that duration, the target takes an additional lightning damage equal to half of the damage you took. This property can't be used again till the next dusk. It's a lightsaber.
Yep.
Yeah. With a few extra tweaks, but yeah.
One of the comments, magic lightsaber. In all seriousness, it looks cool. Fun item. It's an interesting item.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see any reason why not to use it other than it's a lightsaber.
Yeah, basically. Like, the arcing to a second person for an additional d6 damage, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I do like that they didn't... I mean... So, I like that while it absorbs it captures some of the energy for the next attack, it doesn't say it actually reduces it for you, so you're still taking that lightning damage. You just gotta store up half that damage in the blade, too, to hit someone else with it.
Yeah.
So you're still gonna take 20 points of lightning damage to your HP, and then you gotta hit someone for an extra 10 next time you attack. Which I would assume, if people are playing their enemies smart, that person stops casting lightning damage against you.
You would think.
Or if you are well known for having this crazy lightsaber, bad guys might hear of you and never cast lightning on you.
Also a good way to not have lightning cast against you.
True. But that just means spellcasters are going to use fire, cold,
everything else.
thunder, force, poison, acid. You know, there are plenty of options for
There's
spellcasters.
lots of options.
Yeah. So,
You'll still be hurt, just not with lightning.
yeah, basically. Interesting item. So, then we got 2 spells. First one is a 2nd level evocation for a bard, sorcerer, or wizard. Suppressive fire. You unleash a wild, aimless spray of fire bolts, forcing each creature in a 20-foot cone to succeed a wisdom saving throw or be frightened of you for the spell's duration, which is 1 round. A frightened creature cannot use their action on their turn until they have used their movement to attempt to move behind cover or leave the spell's area, unless that action is to dash or disengage. If there's no cover within the creature's movement, they must go prone. Whenever a creature enters the spell's area, it starts its turn there, it must make a dex saving throw. If the creature is prone, they have advantage. On a failed save, a creature takes 3d6 fire damage. On a successful save, they take half as much damage. And then you can upcast it to a 3rd or higher and each level increases the spell's range by 5 feet and the damage by 1d6 for every spell level above 2. You know, I don't think that bad. I like it.
Yeah, not bad.
You know, you're trying to hit them, but not really. This works great to help your friends out. The duration being 1 round doesn't seem overpowered or anything. It's just, here you go. This round. I mean, next round you could do it again, I suppose, and just keep casting it if you want. But, you know, it'll definitely make your DM think about putting cover into all of their maps, which also could help you if you actually want to use cover, which cover is great, to try not to die. So if you're keep getting maps of super open area with no place to take cover, and you're allowed this spell, your DM will very quickly start putting cover everywhere. So his NPC enemies can do things when you start casting this.
Yeah.
So the last one is a warlock or wizard spell, 3rd level divination. Steal thoughts. The range is touch, components vocal and somatic, and duration is instantaneous. So you reach into a creature's mind and siphon out their thoughts, draining them of the information while gaining it for yourself. Make a melee spell attack against the target. On a hit, you deal 4d10 psychic damage and gain insight into the target's immediate thoughts and basic memories as determined by the DM. This could be the names of immediate friends and family, events of the last 30 minutes, the name or location of significant places in their life. Attempting to probe deeper forces the target to make intelligence saving throw. On a failed save, you are able to ask your DM about a specific memory in the creature's mind relating to one name, object, or location you name. Examples include what the last thing is this creature said to someone you name, or what city they saw a given object in. The information cannot exceed 1 minute of the target's memory. You can choose to remove the information you learned from the target's mind. When you learn about it after using this spell, the target is aware that you gained access to and potentially altered its memory in some way. You can upcast this for additional 1d10 damage per spell slot at 4th or higher, and are able to steal memories about one additional name, object, or specific location.
Where is Luke Skywalker?
Yeah, kind of. Man, this has been a bit of a
Star Wars
day.
I know. Star Wars.
Oh no, Star Wars.
No, Star Wars.
I feel left out. Oh no, Star Wars. For those of you who don't know, I just held up a bunch of dice for the Star Wars Edge of the Empire game, because that's the only thing Star Wars related in my reach. And naturally, as a good player in a bag, it looks fancy. That's the plain Crown Royal bag. The regal Crown Royal bag is the purple one.
Mandalorian symbol on mine.
Oh, some more Star Wars.
Yep.
And I just have a generic black bag.
If the Force was real, I would pull over my Funko of the child. But the Force isn't real, and I can't do that.
Yeah. I have a few Star Wars things on my desk, so.
Star Wars.
Yeah, I know. Y'all have lots of Star Wars.
Well, yeah, but if you look behind me, most of it is Star Trek. So I got plenty
True.
of other stuff too.
This was a fun thing. Let's get on to the Druid spells
C.
again.
Don't worry, it's actually recording this time. We should be fine.
Are you sure though?
I tested it right before.
If it's not, you're fired.
I see a gem source as a negative infinite decibel, so
That's the one that we tried last time, which was feeding it from the camera that you are giving me. Whereas the one that actually works is when I sit there and record my desktop audio through Discord. That's the
I
only
do
one
see that
works.
one as on, yeah.
For whatever reason, OBS does not like the remote cameras. So it will record the video,
I'm making-
but not the audio.
I'm making the line jump up. Yeah, good.
Yes.
And jump up. Jump up.
God, you're a child.
I mean, no one else is going to be able to see that.
I don't care.
No.
But
This entertains me.
It's all about your entertainment, isn't it?
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
Going on to the cantrip level of the Druid spell list.
It's Shillelagh.
It's Shillelagh.
It's
It's
Shillelagh.
Shillelagh. With an honorable mention to Thorn Whip, because you can get over here, people.
Yes.
But it's Shillelagh.
Yeah, it's Shillelagh.
You-
It's just so
Because
good.
you get over here to Shillelagh then. That's what you do.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Cantrip that makes your weapon magical for the sake of overcoming resistances and things.
As a bonus action.
As a bonus action, a D8 for weapon damage,
Yep.
which using on a club or quarterstaff is an improvement.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a whole minute. A bonus action.
Yeah.
It's just good. It's just
And
so
you
good.
get to use your wisdom modifier instead of strength or dex to wield it.
Yeah. That too.
Yeah.
It's just good.
Alright, moving on.
moving
Level 1.
Well, in this class, I do particularly like battlefield control stuff. So I went with Entangle, 20-foot square, turns the ground into difficult terrain. Creature in that area must succeed a strength saving throw or be restrained by the entangling plants until the spell ends. They can make strength checks as an action on their turns if they want. Beautiful.
I went along the same lines with it because I picked Fairy Fire. Just so all those invisible assholes out there are no longer invisible.
Indeed.
And I went with something that just helps with normal life. Goodberry, so you can be out in the middle of nowhere and still be able to have food and not die.
Mhm.
So,
And at early levels, one of the better healing spells you can get.
yeah. So,
Yeah, it's all right. I did see someone this week trying to complain that Goodberry was overpowered because, like, you get these 10 berries. People don't have to eat for an entire day. It's only a first level spell, but like, create food and water is a third level spell. It's not overpowered. I mean, 1 hit point for each is not that much. That's enough to like shove down someone's throat to revive them if you're close. And
yep.
it says you don't need food for the day. It says nothing about hydrating you with water.
Nope.
Yeah.
And
So you
only
still need
druids
Fenway.
and rangers can do it. It's not all
Exactly.
the magical classes.
Yeah.
And a halfling can do it. Mark of Hospitality, it looks like.
Yeah, from the dragon marks of
Yeah.
Yeah.
what is
So-
that, Eberron?
But still,
Yeah.
it's like it's only 3 things can do it.
Yeah,
So.
and one of them almost nobody plays because everyone hates rangers.
For a Gloomstalker.
That's the one good ranger.
And sometimes even that doesn't work.
Hi!
Hi, Peter.
Jessica.
That wasn't me.
That was somebody else.
I get confused with the characters who are not great at rolling things.
Yeah.
Because so often it's you, Peter.
Yeah. And sometimes I create a character and they roll well the first session, then the second session we get it's like, hey, maybe Peter's
And
gonna
we're
have a
back.
good character. No.
And
Hey,
Peter's
shit.
rolling like Peter. Yep.
All right, going on to level 2.
Moonbeam.
Lay Moonbeam. Which is
Moonbeam.
French for the Moonbeam.
And honorable mention to Pass Without Trace, because Pass Without Trace is just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And you can do it without being a rager.
Accurate.
Yes.
Yeah, no, Pass Without Trace is just too good not to mention, but
Yes. It's-
Moonbeam's size, movability, and damage to so many things is just so good.
Then moving into the third level, which mostly third level is when a lot of the spells ramp up.
Mhm.
The Druid third levels are one of their more underwhelming
Yeah.
levels compared to other casters, because that's
Fuck me, I guess. Just I like my third level spells because I have 2. I have a regular and honorable mention.
yep.
I went with Erupting Earth,
Which is pretty solid.
which is
Yeah.
pretty solid. Again, the 20-foot cube, but everything has to make a dex saving throw or takes 3d12 bludgeoning damage and half as much on a failed save. Additionally, that ground is just fucked until someone comes around and takes a minute to clear each 5-foot section of that 20-foot cube by hand. Fantastic. Creates difficult terrain to slow down bad guys and redirect them into areas you want. Does a bunch of damage. And then my second one was plant growth. Because really,
that growth is good.
it's good for like the immediate benefits of like basically just everything becoming thick and overgrown, causing things movement to be 4 feet for every 1 foot of movement.
Mm-hmm.
You can exclude one or more areas of any size within the spell's area from being affected, so you can carve out a little spot for you and your friends if you need to. But also love the racket that you can start as a druid of going around and just requiring a lot of money from a bunch of farmers to just supercharge and double the crop production for the year in a 1 mile or half a mile radius. So a 1 mile area around you. That's fantastic.
Also do it to a city state. Go to a lord and be like, hey, would you like some help improving your yield? No? Okay. So fuck that, and fuck that.
Right?
How about now? Suck.
Accurate. Those are mine.
Yeah. I say
Obviously, the plant growth being the honorable mention there.
I'd be going with the same thing, so you took mine.
Yeah, I just did something for funsies. Was water breathing. I mean,
Could be helpful.
It really depends on the campaign you're doing. Like some of the episodes I was listening to recently, you're on a boat. Might want that, especially if there's a storm. But
Yes.
Generally
Or if you
speaking,
try noodling.
Or you just want to mess with some water elementals.
yeah.
Or water elementals, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like
I'm going to engulf you. Oh no, what am I going to do?
I can
Shock.
breathe in water.
Oh look, I'm so sad. Wow. Yeah. So not the most versatile, but it's kind of fun.
Moving on. Going on to level 4. What is everyone's pick?
I chose to go with Elemental Bane. 1 minute of concentration, range of 90 feet. And yeah, you can choose one creature within range and choose one of the following damage: acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder. And if they fail a Constitution saving throw, the first time they're affected, they take damage of the chosen type. The target takes an extra 2d6 damage of that type. Moreover, the target loses any resistance to the damage type, and you can upcast it to be more creatures, and creature must be within 30 feet of the other creature when you do it. But yeah, if you know your wizard went heavy fire because fireball everything, and now you're up against a demon, elemental bane to make your wizard useful again.
Yeah. I'd say I went because it has two of my favorite spells in general in this slot. So I'm gonna do the two honorable mentions of Polymorph and Wall of Fire, because I love both of them. I love you just being able to open a dungeon door, say, nope, I'm gonna turn on the microwave in here, cast it, and close the door.
When
And
your
wait.
spellcaster focuses so much on fire and you need to remove a resistance.
Yeah.
like you can't even deny that, because I mean you've gotten better, but you came in
first
heavy fire
For the first half of the campaign, yeah. Oh yeah, it was a little much.
There was a lot of fire.
There's a lot of fire.
I haven't cast a fireball in a long time. It's kind of
I'm
weird.
so proud of you.
It's also often because people are in the way.
Also part of my plan.
Yeah, that's why I haven't cast Thunderwave in quite a while, because people are always in the way.
It's amazing what smart enemies do when they are going up against semi or fully famous adventurers who have habits.
Yeah.
Or just know you're powerful spellcasters. Like, well, maybe we intersperse amongst them, protect ourselves, because none of y'all are wizards and you don't have spell sculpt.
Yeah.
Nope.
So my 4th level spell is Giant Insect. So you can transform a certain number of insects within range, so it's 30 feet, and they become the giant version of themselves and help you out and attack things. So
I want to make a giant ladybug.
I mean, it doesn't say that you can do that, but I'm sure the DM can decide, because it says the DM might allow you to choose different targets. So because it just has centipede, spider, wasp, and scorpion, so they become the giant version of what they are, and then they, mess with action economy and go in and attack things.
Always solid.
So, yeah. And it's a concentration spell, lasts up to 10 minutes. So make sure you don't get hit when you're doing that and lose concentration, but you can have giant bugs helping you.
And zombies that you then lose control of and leave on a boat and forget about.
You've done that.
I have. Halfway to the next town before realizing I left a zombie on the ship we came in. Oh well.
He's like, yeah,
sure, it's fine.
Definitely was there.
Going into 5th level, I decided, just because I like it, I went with Reincarnate. Just because I love the idea of having a halfling get reincarnated as a Dragonborn, or something crazy like that. Or a Dragonborn at the end of its life, and then being reincarnated into something that's technically a child.
Really just anything being reincarnated as technically a child, but also an elf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, you're 100 years old. Oh, so I'm an adult.
With the exception of dwarves. Dwarves can live a bit longer.
Yeah.
But still. I've lived a long life as a Dragonborn. Now you're an infant. Damn it.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
Reincarnate can be fun. I found some...
Distance is pain, Jerry.
I found some homebrew rules for it that make it even more random and ridiculous, which we may have to go over at some point. but
Yes. Make it a Wanty pureblood.
I don't remember what it's gotten in there, but it was pretty obnoxious. Like you rolled for all sorts of stuff and it could get really, really goofy.
Yes, rolling on a D100, a 98 to 100 is a UNT pureblood.
Yes.
I have
I would also love turning a fireball into like a warforged. That's for the shits and giggles.
I don't think a Warforged is on here.
But it would be funny to like transfer the soul into a warforged.
Indeed.
Oh, this nature-loving thing is now a warforged. Deal with it.
I mean, it has basically everything else from Aarakocra, centaurs, lizard folk, minotaurs, turtles.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got so much. It's ridiculous.
You turn an Aarakocra into what's the one thing that can't fly? It has to mimic speed.
Kenku.
Kenku. Turn an Aarakocra into a Kenku just to add insult to injury.
Totally
Nope.
that's
No flying for you.
That's 64 to 67.
Yeah.
A Goliath becomes a gnome.
Oh no.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it's there are pages of this. It does a lot of things.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So, my 5th level is Wrath of Nature.
Same.
That's very
Yep.
good.
I mean, depending on the area, it can do some cool things. I mean, undergrowth is difficult terrain, and grass and undergrowth. Okay, fine. Trees are interesting because anything within 10 feet of them must make dex saving throws or take 46 slashing damage
Yes.
from whipping branches. I mean, yeah. My favorite, though, is rocks. As a bonus action on your turn, you can cause loose rocks in the cube to launch itself at a creature you can see in the cube, and they take 3d8 magic bludgeoning damage,
Mhm.
and must save a strength saving throw or be knocked prone. That's just fantastic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, plus with roots and vines and the grass and undergrowth, you get some good area of control.
Yeah, no, it's the druids are really good at battlefield control.
Yeah.
In the non stereotypical way.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Alright, getting on to 6th level.
Indeed.
I went with something a little weird, I guess. I went with transport via plants, which is similar to the cleric spell that we talked about, where if you
Sanctuary.
Yeah, sanctuary, where like you can go to a temple or something of your deity. This is like you create a link between a large or larger plant within range and another plant at any distance on the same plane of existence, and you have to have seen or touched the destination plant at some point. But for 1 round, any creature can step into the target plant and exit from the destination plant by using 5 feet of movement. So you can basically just make a plant into basically a long distance dimension door and just go somewhere. So
Yeah.
And since it lasts a round, if you're the first one, like your party can go through if necessary. So
Yeah, I mean that's a cool spell. Definitely reminds me of not Drider. Those are spider people. Dryads.
yeah.
And
Pretty sure you messed up last week.
I definitely did. And Eladrin, which is the elf subrace that are fae and protectors of nature. I think they can also do it. So that's cool. Speaking of Fae, I like to conjure them in this level.
Yes. Mhm, that's,
Yes, summoning Fae creatures of challenge rating 6 or lower to unoccupied space, and I mean, really anything to swing the tide of action economy your way. Always helpful. Yeah, you could, lose control of the Fae and it becomes hostile towards you and your companions, and it might attack. An uncontrolled Fae can't be dismissed by you and disappears 1 hour after you summoned it. Sure, that could be dangerous, but also kind of fun. So why not?
Yeah.
They're only CR6 or lower. It's fine.
it's fine.
Senor, Alex, what was yours? Did you say?
You had mine. It was the Contra Fae.
It's like I don't remember what yours was.
Yeah, that one.
Perfect. So shall we move on to 7th level then?
With an honorable mention is Sunbeam, because Sunbeam is cool.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, going on to 7th.
I think we all picked the same one.
Reverse Gravity.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yes, we did.
Mm-hmm.
Because do you just want to send people flying 100 feet up in the air?
Yep.
That sounds cool. Also, want to then drop them? Or just keep, slam them into a ceiling or something? Yeah, that's what this does. And it will mess with a whole lot of things.
Yep.
Also, because the effect isn't really seeable, I will say, unless your DM is being meta, if reinforcements come into the area, they unless they see things floating in the air or against the ceiling, if they come through like a doorway right into it, they're not gonna, at least the first person, maybe the second, isn't gonna know that's there, and they're gonna go flying up into the ceiling.
Yep. It's very fun. And it's just a good way to literally turn the battlefield upside down.
Yep.
Just say, hey, have fun up there. Enjoy. Good luck hitting me.
Yeah, especially with anything they have to throw, because...
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, because they're 100 feet up in the air, and, that's honestly out of basically all thrown ranges.
Yep.
Yeah.
At least you have gravity, so you can at least attempt to do it. But as long as you get it out of the reverse, it goes up, down, and then goes again. You have to snake it all the way around.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be cool if you could do it. But
It'd be cool if you could do it. Probably not.
probably you're
The
just
chances of you doing that, you're just going to waste whatever you threw.
Oh, yeah.
So, going on to level 8. There's a
I liked this one.
go for it.
Freaking tsunami. Mountaintop tsunami? Hell yeah.
Go.
It takes a minute to cast, but you're not closing out a battle with tsunami. You're starting the battle with tsunami.
Yes.
300 foot long, 300 foot high, 50 foot thick wall of water comes blasting at you with a range of sight, which, on clear days, especially from an elevated position, could be like 10 miles. Might not be super accurate at 10 miles, but you can see that far on a clear day from a high enough vantage point. And the fact that if you put it on a creature to start and it fails its strength save, 60-10 bludgeoning damage, and then at the start of each of your turns, after the wall appears, the water moves along with any creature in it 50 feet away from you. Any huge or smaller creatures inside the wall, or whose space the wall enters when it has to then make another strength saving throw or take 5d10, then 4d10, then 3d10, then 2d10, then 1d10, which is a lot of d10s.
Yes, it
Like
is.
21 d10s or something like that if they fail all of the saves.
You did.
Yeah, most things are dead. And it's beautiful.
It's,
I went with a different one. I went with Incendiary Cloud, which is kind of like Moonbeam because it moves around.
But fire.
But it's a fire NATO that you move around the field.
I think Sharknado did that once.
Probably.
Sharknado 7. The sharks are on fucking fire.
I may have watched like most of the Sharknado movies.
I haven't seen any of them. I don't really care to.
Mark Cuban's in one of them as the president. Things like Sharknado 3.
God.
It's ridiculous. Pretty much.
Is it the actual Mark Cuban or someone
The
playing
actual
it?
Mark Cuban.
Good for him.
Right?
Someone's bored.
When you're a billionaire, I think you get bored sometimes.
Yeah. That's it. Say, my choice was also Tsunami, but, shout out to Feeble Mind, because I just love that spell.
It's a solid spell.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And then going on to 9th level, which honestly is a bit of a meh. It's not that good.
No.
I feel like we're getting comments from the peanut gallery.
We're getting comments from the person across here.
Silencio!
As we also agree that the 9th level is.
Yeah.
I think with all of them, shape change maybe?
Really?
I don't know.
I know
Interact
mine.
actually works.
I went with Foresight.
Yeah.
8-hour duration. A willing creature has a ability to see into the immediate future. They can't be surprised and have advantage on attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws. And additionally, other creatures have a disadvantage on attack rolls against that target for the duration.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's
8 hours of traveling,
Yeah.
especially into an area where you might get ambushed. This one spell keeps that from happening, basically.
I love how they put this spell immediately ends if you cast it again before its duration ends. How?
A scroll.
Hey.
Or a wish scroll where you duplicate the spell.
Because I just said that like that's almost physically impossible to do that.
Almost.
Almost. But yeah, no. Foresight, I think you're right, Foresight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best one. It just feels weird ranking a lot of these because I haven't had a chance to play Druid extensively. So it's mainly going on from what other people have played. And
I understand your feeling of not getting to play extensively any character because you're a forever DM and all the other games you've played up until recently have fallen through within like the first 3 sessions.
I know. It's annoying.
It's my luck of just going on either Roll20 to look for games or the LFG subreddit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I had a sorcerer last for like a few months, 2 months.
So, but on that note, I think this was fun. We finally got through the Druid spells again. How was everyone's turn?
Delicious.
Mine
Good.
was great. I
Yep.
quite enjoyed it.
Turning the Whistle Pig into a cocktail, at least the 6-year into a cocktail, I think works out great, and that's probably what I'm going to be using it for.
Yeah.
The Glens are just great scotches.
Generally speaking, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I
Th-
like.
Thank you, everyone, for staying with us and getting through it. No, we sometimes can ramble on, but it is fun doing this. I hope everyone has a good night, and we will catch you in the next one.
Bye.